Three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the Red Hot Underdogs. And with me tonight, the ever incredible, long contained, often imitated, never duplicated, the legend is back, Grovesy.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hang on, boys.
How are you, big
Finals
guy?
time. Got the grass in the back,
Amazing.
spring grass. It's all happening.
All happening, mate. This is absolutely marvelous. We're so happy to have you on because we're actually the
Thanks for having me.
questionnaire and you are the answer
Yeah,
to AFL itself
yeah,
and the finals. So, everybody out there,
yeah.
welcome to the podcast that doesn't kick goals, it kicks behinds.
That's right. Right, yeah. And
I love it.
the legend Grovesy is here as an expert guru on Aussie Rules, the final, the footy finals, right?
Footy finals. It's great to have him on because up this side of the border, up north, it's more like NRL territory. So we
Yeah,
desperately need a professor of AFL like yourself
yeah,
to give us a bit of a rundown on this final series.
yeah,
I'll try and give
yeah,
an unbiased view.
yeah.
I'll
Excellent.
give it my
I was
best.
just I just thinking we might start with the first game, which will be held just a bit of analysis from you, Professor Grovesy, the
Yeah.
professor of
The professor.
AFL.
The professor.
So on Thursday, September 4 at Adelaide Oval at 7:40, we have the mighty Adelaide Crows who finished first, the minor premiership versus Collingwood who came in fourth.
My team.
What's your
Oh,
analysis on this game? Who do you think are sort of the key players and the notable omissions and a bit of a prediction and maybe just a general analysis of how you think the game might go?
Well, look, Collingwood played Adelaide 2 weeks ago and they only lost by 3 points. So I think it's going to be a really close game.
in
Collingwood had
Adelaide, Gracie?
in Adelaide, so
Okay.
exactly the same situation.
Yep.
Collingwood had 71 inside 50s to the Crows like 30, and we lost by 3 points, which is unheard of in AFL. Normally, if you have
Say
more
that,
inside 50s,
say that again. So Pies got lots of behinds. Is that right?
no, we got 71 inside 50s. So that means the ball went inside our forward line 71 times for the whole game versus the Crows. I think it was roughly around 30 or 40. So we
Yeah.
basically nearly doubled the inside 50s and lost the game.
Yeah.
So,
That mountain
and the
of
reason
opportunities.
So,
so we
so
had heaps of
you were
opportunities.
you were right. Because inside 50, you can pretty like these players pretty much can kick it from anywhere inside 50. Most of them,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But what Adelaide did was they swarmed all their defenders back and they defended really, really well. So they suffocated our forward line
Yeah.
and they just kept rebounding it out. So we couldn't score. And then Collingwood also missed a lot of shots as well. So that didn't help. But ultimately we didn't win. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think this game's going to be it's going to be completely different to that game. I think Collingwood's going to try and open it up. And it's going to be a lot more free flowing. Hopefully, it's not a wet game. If it's a wet game, then I think Adelaide will probably win because they'll be able to lock it down like they did in the previous game.
Oh, okay.
But if it's a dry night, and this is taking my bias Collingwood hat off, I do think Collingwood will win because
Don't don't
they'll,
take it off.
they'll
Don't
play
take
a they'll play a more attacking style
Yeah.
because they would have learnt from the previous game. The previous game, Adelaide really locked us down and made it a real dour contested ball type game.
Yeah.
Whereas Collingwood, when they play well, they go through the middle, they take risks, they make it a bit of a chaos game.
Yeah.
So I think if it's a dry night, I think that's that'll be Collingwood's strategy. And we've got McCreery back in, and potentially Bobby Hill might come back in, which will help with speed because we were quite slow 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And Adelaide has Isaac Rankin out, as you guys alluded to last week because of his
Yeah.
homophobic slurs.
Yeah.
So that was music to my ears when he got done for that. That was
Yeah.
every Collingwood supporter in the country were like, yes.
Yeah. The whole of
I
Melbourne.
will say this about the situation. Look, Collingwood have every reason to believe that they should win, but the one thing that
Yeah.
I do think is in Adelaide's favour is the fact that I think one thing that really helps them leading into this game, unfortunately, they did lose Isaac Rankin, which we all
Yep.
know why, well documented. But before their actual round 23 game, whereby Adelaide beat Collingwood, it was the first time since 2016
Yes.
that Adelaide had actually beaten Collingwood.
Yeah, and always, if you look historically, the games have been within 2 kicks. Like I think about last 10 games
Yeah.
have been really, really
Yeah.
close. So it's going
So
to be a cracking game. This first
it
game
will
is going to be
be.
Yeah.
It
awesome.
will be a cracking game. I think, like, I would be more bullish and more favouring Collingwood if Collingwood had have won that round 23 game. And I still feel
Yeah,
that Collingwood could potentially win it. But
yeah,
I do feel as though that win that Adelaide had gives them now the confidence to believe that they
Yeah.
can beat Collingwood after not
definitely.
being able to beat them for so many years.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's a
let's not
huge
forget it.
shot in the arm.
It's at their home ground, so they're
Yeah.
going to have 50,000 Adelaide fans. That's going to
Yeah.
go against Collingwood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
historically, Collingwood really plays well away from Melbourne. They really travel well historically,
Yes.
and particularly in finals. Not that that counts for anything in this game, but just giving a bit of a
So,
spin as a Collingwood supporter. We do actually travel well to
were
finals.
Yeah.
Adelaide the I know they finished on top, but are they the best team this year in Aussie Rules? I guess that I've just answered that question.
Well,
Well, I guess they are.
You know?
yeah, they finished on top, so the
Yeah,
ladder tells you whether you're the
yeah,
best
they're the
team or not.
best.
So yeah,
They're the
the
best.
ladder says they're the best at the end of the home and away.
Yeah.
But
But
Collingwood
one thing I will say about Adelaide though
yeah,
is they're going to be very inexperienced. They don't have many players that have played finals like big
Yeah.
finals.
um,
Collingwood's stacked. We've got a lot of experience,
yeah,
so that's going to hold us up really well. So it'd be interesting to see how the Adelaide players handle the pressure of being at home as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
And they've got a relatively young team compared to Collingwood. We've got Pendlebury, Sidebottom.
yeah.
Those
Old.
guys, they're like 30 plus. They've played 15 years of footy.
You need a few oldies
Um,
though. You need a few of them.
You do. Youth and
Definitely,
experience. That's what they always say, a bit of youth and experience. So
exactly. Yeah,
just for the record, in the TAB betting, now I went off TAB because for me, out of all the betting agencies, they're about as Australian as a pie and sauce or a root in the back of a panel van. So I went for TAB odds.
Yeah,
Now, Adelaide are $5 to win the premiership. Collingwood are $7 to win the premiership. To make the grand final, Adelaide are $2.50 and Collingwood are $3. It doesn't really mean anything come the whistle, but it's just a point of interest in the final series.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the one thing, as I said before, they're very inexperienced. This is their first finals campaign for 7 years for Adelaide as
yeah,
a club as well.
yeah,
So will they be able to handle the pressure in front of their home crowd? Collingwood very experienced. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be I just hope it's not a wet game. I hope it's a dry game personally as a Collingwood supporter, because then I think it'll be a fast and exciting open game. But
Hey,
anyway, we'll see.
So before we move on to the next, I know you want to say something.
I
Let's
was
just
just
get
going to say to Grovesy,
predictions.
why Thursday night? Like
Yeah, interesting.
couldn't
Uh,
like it's a
as I
fine
was saying to you previously on our phone call,
on the lower.
they on the blower, they do it because Adelaide finished on top. It means that if they lose, then they'll get a longer break than the next teams that
That
play.
makes sense.
That's the
That makes
logic
good
behind it.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the logic behind it, but there's also two sides to the coin. I actually do like the logic behind it that you just explained. The other thing, though, that I don't like so much is I kind of feel that Thursday takes a little bit away from the
Yeah,
atmosphere and the pageantry that is the
yeah,
semi-finals and
I
that
agree.
particular game.
It sucks for me personally because I've got young kids and I want them to
Yeah.
watch
yeah.
the game, but they can't. Well, I will let them watch the game. Let's be honest.
Not
But
as
they're going to
young
be
as
tired the next.
not as
They're
young
going to
as
be tired the next
Drewy.
day.
Not as young as
How
Drewy
true.
Grovesy. He's got a
Yeah.
screaming baby all night. Remember that?
I know. I
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Living on
That's
the
hard work, mate.
yeah,
living on the edge, but that's okay.
Yeah.
24/7 tired and jumbling my
Oh,
words like nothing else. But
yeah.
nonetheless, let's get all the tips between
yeah.
the three of us before we go on to the next game. So so you
Hot
predict
tides. Hot
Collingwood.
pies. How
Hot
come
pies.
hot pies?
I'm going to
Hot
be the
pies
lone
by
pariah,
15.
and I'm actually going to tip Adelaide
Boo. Boo.
uh by 16 points.
Oh my
There you go.
God. Okay.
I'll go pies by
Oh,
15. There you go.
the next game is Friday, September 5,
Oh, yeah.
7:40 at the MCG, where the second placed Geelong Cats
Yep.
meet the third place Brisbane Lions. I actually can't stand either of these sides because
Same.
my team, Sydney, they got absolutely trounced by Geelong in 2022 and Brisbane last year. And quite frankly, I was grabbing my car keys from the pub. Actually, not
Yeah.
grabbing my car keys. Don't drink and drive, ladies and gentlemen. I
Yeah.
was walking to the bus stop at
Yeah.
half time in both of those games. I
Yeah.
don't care for either of these, but be that as it may, there's got to be a winner, there's got to be a loser. And again, I hand over to the professor of
Yeah.
AFL,
Professor.
Mr.
Professor.
Groves. What's
Tell us.
your analysis?
Well, I
Outside.
share your hatred. I share your hatred for these
Yeah.
two teams because
Yeah.
Brisbane beat Collingwood in 2002 and 2003,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
just, ripped my heart out both
Yeah.
years. And then Geelong beat us in 2011 after we lost 3 games for that whole year. And those 3 games were against Geelong. One of our best seasons ever. We
Yeah.
were, I think, 4 points down at three-quarter time, and they ran over us in the last quarter.
Yeah.
And it still
Oh,
hurts to this day. We
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
gone
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. So
yes.
this game, I actually think, taking my Collingwood biased hat off, I actually think the Premier might come from either of these two teams.
Wow.
Yes.
I think whoever's going to win this game will probably go on and win the premiership.
Wow.
Wow.
I say that because Geelong, they've got one injury at the moment, so they've got
Mhm.
basically a full list to pick from.
Yeah.
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 And if they win, they get the week off. They do have a relatively older list as well, so the
Yep.
week off will probably help them.
Yeah.
But it means they're not leaving Victoria. They'll go into a prelim. They've got an extra week off, and then same for Brisbane. If Brisbane win, they then play a prelim at the Gabba.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of stars coming back. They've got a few injuries at the moment. That would be my only concern going into this game as a Brisbane supporter. But Brisbane over the last couple of years have had the wood on Geelong. So they beat him in the prelim last year
Yep.
by about 6 points, I think it was, something like that.
Yeah.
And they've got a really good record against Geelong. So once again, this will be a cracking game. But I think Geelong will probably get over the line just because they've got no injuries. They've got a full list to pick from. They've had a really easy run in. Sometimes that can go against you.
Yeah.
But Brisbane's got a lot more injuries compared to them. Lockie Neal's a bit sus at the moment, so he may or may not play. Trying to think who else is out. One of their forwards is out. I can't think of his name. He's done a
Doesn't
calf.
matter. Such an
Yeah.
advantage, though, Grovesy, like coming top four and winning that first game and getting that week off.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
you can, like I know you get a bit more of advantage having a home game coming first and second, but really, like these four teams are in the hot seat.
Yeah.
I did hear that nobody in the NRL have ever won outside the top four. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
Really?
that is very
That's true.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely in the NRL, but it has happened in the AFL, I believe.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
one year
Last
that
year.
oh,
Last year,
very
Brisbane won
good.
on fifth.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I
yeah.
know. Well, not so good because I'm a Swan supporter. I
Yeah.
hate that game. I not only got sunburnt, my side got thrashed, and my face
Yeah.
was as scarlet as what was on the Sydney jersey. But one of my favorite years, incidentally, was actually 2023, where, okay, Sydney didn't win, but Collingwood won the grand final. So that was a win for
That
both
was,
of you guys, and it
that
was
was great.
extra special with an extra cherry on top because the Broncos lost the NRL and the Lions lost the AFL.
Yeah.
And poor old Brisbaneites were crying all over the place, in the streets, in the alleyways, and in their homes.
Yeah.
That was a Christmas present
Great
for
year.
all of Australia.
Yeah. Yeah. It
And
really.
Brisbane were leading, weren't they? Weren't they up like, 20 to 10 or something
Yeah, they
with
were
like
up by
10
a
minutes
fair
to
bit.
go? 10
Yeah.
minutes to go, and then Penrith ran over the top. Like,
Yeah.
unbelievable
Yeah,
win.
Nathan Cleary went into overdrive. He became the
Yeah.
one-man army. But
Yeah.
I just loved that year just because I don't like
I was
Queenslanders.
in
Apologies to
Queensland. I got to
Queenslanders out there.
watch, two Queensland teams lose in Queensland. It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Move on to the next one. What's the next one, Drewy?
Okay, let's just get predictions first, and then we'll move on to the next. Who have you got?
I say Geelong by 9.
Yeah, I'll say Geelong will win too. Yep.
I'm going Cats by 13, yeah, Geelong by 13. So my next one is actually Saturday, September the 6th at 3:15 p.m. from NG Stadium in Homebush. Is
Yeah.
the fifth place GWS versus the eighth place Hawthorn.
Ah,
So
okay.
I'm begrudgingly going for GWS because I'm a Mad Swans supporter. So I'm going to have to go for the ugly brother or little brother as I have it. But, they probably won't be saying little brother because they finished ahead of us.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I also have a large disdain for Hawthorn, beginning with that god-awful jersey that sport the colours
Agree.
of both Pooh and Wee.
Yeah.
But from here on, we head to our professor of AFL, Mr. Grovesy. Take the spotlight
Take the
once again.
spotlight. Tell us, Gracie.
Okay, so I'm going to be a bit controversial here. So out of the bottom half of the 8, I think this is where the Premier might come from this game if Geelong doesn't win it.
Big
I
call.
think Hawthorn could actually win it from outside the 8. Out of the 4
Wow.
teams outside the top 4, I think
Mm.
Hawthorn could be one of the teams
Why?
to get up and, well, just if you look at what happened last year, they got on a run and they nearly won it last year just through
Yeah.
momentum, and they've got a really exciting young list. They've got superstars everywhere.
Yeah.
Their forward line's been really clicking well lately. But they've GWS on their day, they could absolutely smash Hawthorn as well. I'm just saying out of the teams that aren't in the top 4, I
Yeah.
think it's either GWS or particularly Hawthorn. I think if they get on a run, they could actually snatch a premiership.
Yeah, look, I think it'll be a really good game, this one. I think it's one of the more underrated games. You look at it on the surface and you're like, oh, yeah, it's not too bad. But
Yeah,
this one actually could kind of go down to the wire, I feel like.
Look at what I got.
GWS have
Hey,
a fair bit of momentum. Good old Osso
also,
is supporting the mighty Pies.
is not
But
supporting the dogs,
the way that
the rugby
sneaking,
league. He's more of a sheep than a
yeah,
dog. Look
Western
at his
Dogs
head,
are.
you know?
That's true. The Western Dogs are out. He's not a Bulldog, but I guess if he was to support a team, it would
Look,
be the Western Bulldogs.
just quickly, I've been to
Yeah.
a couple of games GWS this year. I think I've told
Yeah.
you because
yeah,
I'm on this website and I get $5 tickets, you know.
Yes.
oh, that's good.
$5 tickets. It's great. I've gone with JJ once. I've gone with all of us once, and they got kids rides and chips on a stick. Why wouldn't you go for $5, right? You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um, and having said that,
Yeah.
you go $5 tickets, and sorry to tell you, Grosy, it's not busy there. You know,
yeah.
No.
Well, the AFL's trying to grow it out there, so
so
it makes sense.
Unfortunately, the
$5
GWS, yeah.
and there's no one there. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
at what stage are they going to say this hasn't worked? Will they? Like,
no, they won't. They
winning
won't
the
ever.
premiership, will winning the premiership like secure this team, or will it make them popular? I don't even know anymore. I don't know
Yeah.
anything.
Look, I've
No,
got my own take on this. I just think GWS has been subsidized by outside forces to within an inch of its life. It's some sort of corporate amalgamation to try and make the Greater Western Sydney some sort of force in AFL. But unfortunately, not just because I'm a Sydney fan, I just think it'll always play little brother to the Swans. And you can see it going out there. It's like a ghost town when people actually go to support the GWS. I'm not certain that even winning a premiership will help them
Yeah,
garner support, but if anything will, it will be that. So they really must put all their eggs in that basket and eventually win one, but I don't think it'll be this year. But even winning a flag might not be a certainty for the GWS to be a success. I think it's been an abject failure
what
since
do you
its
reckon,
inception.
Rosie? What do you reckon?
well, look, I'll tell you now, they'll never get rid of GWS, and I'll tell you why. It's because
Why?
of the TV rights. Because of the TV rights. So
Right.
the AFL gets so much money from the TV rights, beaming games into Sydney. Even if they get a small amount of people watching, it
Yeah.
pays for itself. The investment is worth it for the AFL. And the AFL is there for the next 100 years. Looking at it from an investment point of view, they want to break into that Western Sydney market.
Yeah.
And I think if I was to choose out of Gold Coast and GWS, which team would go first? It would be Gold Coast, not
Yeah.
GWS. I think
100%.
there's a massive population out west in Sydney. That's an
Yeah.
untapped market. You've got a
Yeah.
very similar to where I live here in Western Melbourne as well.
Yeah.
You've got a massive multicultural communities out there,
Yes.
Indian, Asian.
Yeah.
That's the market that the AFL is trying to tap into. Hence why they're giving away $5 tickets,
Yeah.
and they're there for the long haul.
Yeah.
They want kids joining up to Auskick. I'll tell you now, my son goes to Auskick here in Point Cook, and half the kids there are Indian kids, and they're loving it. They're
Yeah.
having a kick.
Excellent.
They're loving it. So in
There's
10
something here in Sydney
years'
called,
time, they
yeah.
may be playing AFL.
Yeah,
So,
I can't wait to see Gupta or VJ or
so
AJ put one
yeah,
straight through the bloody sticks and win the grand final. I'll be
But
throwing
you are right.
turbans in the air everywhere. It'll be
Yeah.
bloody
Like,
fantastic.
Drewy, my kids as well, like they do Auskick, and it is
Mm.
huge. And from a marketing point of view,
yeah,
they are ground level attracting
yeah, it's huge.
olds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
And it's like $50, $50, isn't it, Jules? And you get a bag, you get a ball, they get a jumper, and
Pity
they
it's
get
a
8
Sydney
weeks.
ball. It's a Sydney ball. I said,
Yeah,
I ticked we want a Collingwood Magpies ball. They gave us a bloody Sydney
yeah.
Swans ball.
Do-
Everybody,
Hang on.
you know.
Here's the important question. Do they throw in a free packet of twisties and a can of Coke as well?
No.
No.
Ball,
Okay.
you get a pump, you get stickers. But like
Yeah, pump.
every
Yeah,
kid in Western Sydney would be getting that stuff too, Drew. But
yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, like let's face it, everybody in Western Sydney, like they're not into Aussie rules. They're into soccer
No.
yeah.
or rugby
No.
league. That's what they're
But
into.
the AFL is focusing on that Auskick generation to come
Yeah,
through, like in the next 10, 20 years.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
where they're going to get the memberships up to, 50, 60,000. And,
yeah.
that's
Maybe to
when
buy
they'll get
into
the
the
payoff.
maybe to buy into the GWS market, they need to throw in a bum bag and a few lines of Coke. Maybe that might bring the kids in. But
Exactly,
we'll
exactly.
see how it
Uh,
goes. So,
Well,
what do you guys tip for that one? The mighty Hawks and
so
the Giants.
just one last thing on that game.
Yep.
Here's a frilly fact. Hawthorn has a 0-8 record at GWS. So my
Wow.
prediction is a bold one by saying that they'll beat GWS. So they don't actually
Okay.
play the ground that well because
Yep.
the showground is quite a wide ground. So they're going to
Yeah.
have to go through the middle and attack a bit more, which they're not used to doing.
yeah.
But records are there to be broken. So I think Hawthorn in a very close one by 8 points.
What about you, Jules?
I want GWS to do really well. And I'm interested that Grovesy reckons they'll be around for another 100 years. I'm sure we won't be though. We'll be
No,
long before
100%
100
not.
years. Don't you worry about that. Yeah. So Groves,
I'm sweating on still being here in 8 minutes. But
GWS
but by how much?
by 100. Hey,
Okay.
100. Yeah. Why
I'm
not?
going GWS by 9 points. And just for the record, the Hawks are $16 to win the premiership and $8 to make the grand final with TAB.
Okay.
GWS $18 to win the premiership
Wow.
and $10 to make the grand final.
Okay.
So with that brings on our last game, which is Saturday, September the 6th at 7:35 at Optus Stadium over there in Western Australia. It's the sixth place Fremantle Dockers versus seventh place Gold Coast Suns. I love this matchup. The mighty Purple Haze versus Sporting Graveyard, capital of Australia, the Gold Coast. Fremantle versus Gold Coast. Now, I actually really like both of these sides. I've got a soft spot that turns into a hard spot that turns into a wet spot when
Oh,
it comes
Jesus.
to both of these sides.
Oh God.
So I'm really looking forward to this game. And I hope the winner of the grand final is one of these two. And I'd actually love it to be Gold Coast.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too. Wouldn't that be? Imagine Sydney versus Gold Coast, GWS versus Gold Coast in a
Yeah.
grand final. You know who'd love that? The AFL.
AFL.
You know who'd hate that?
Melburnians would hate it.
Every
Melburnians would hate that.
Victorian would hate that, but I'd love it because sucked in to all those Victorians. That's what I reckon. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I
I
love
love
it.
it.
Whenever
It'll
the
suck.
grand final doesn't involve a Victorian side, my heart just sings.
Yeah, yeah. Can
Well, I hope
GWS
the Storm win in the NRL. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. Well, there
Go
you
to
go. That's
Storm.
where you get one back with us, don't you? So,
Uh,
so let's get the diagnosis from the Mr. Professor of AFL, Dr. Groves over there.
Guru? What do you reckon?
so look, so this game, I think it's a fait accompli. I think Fremantle going to smash the Gold Coast. This is the
Yeah,
easiest game to pick out of all of them. At home, Fremantle, 60,000 fans.
yeah,
Gold Coast, last 2 weeks, they've lost. Well, they beat Essendon, but anyone can beat Essendon at the moment.
yeah,
That was their reserve side. And they lost the previous 2 games. So they haven't got great form coming
yeah.
into this game. It's the Gold Coast first final series, so hats off to them for that.
Yes.
So the AFL's
First,
stoked about that.
when you say first, do you mean first or
First
first?
ever.
First
Yeah, this
ever.
is their first ever since
Yeah.
inception. So that was about 15 years ago. So this is
Yes.
huge for the club. It's a
But then in
massive
15
step.
years, 15 years. It's taken 15
I
Yeah.
think it's about
No,
15
no.
years, something like that.
No, it's they began in 2009, so including the 2009 season, I believe they've made the finals for the seven in their 17th season as an
17.
entity.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
in saying that, there could have been somebody that's been born, gone to school, dropped out of school, become a mother,
Yeah.
and got welfare benefits from Centrelink that lived in Frankston
Oh,
at the start of the Gold Coast's inception to the time they made the finals.
yeah.
So
Okay.
it's an amazing achievement. Congratulations,
Come on, Gold
the
Coast.
sporting graveyard capital of Australia, the mighty Gold Coast Suns.
The Gold
But
Coast.
look, I'd love to see Gold Coast win, but looking at it logically, I think Fremantle will absolutely kill them. I think they're going to win by about 40, 50 points. They've got a very strong team, Fremantle, um, and but I don't think Fremantle will win past this final either. I think they're a bit too defensive. They're not attacking enough team, um, and and the Gold Coast just as I said, their form coming into it's not great.
No.
Um, and they've got a couple of injuries as well. So
For the Gold Coast, it just feels like a situation of I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
That
I
we're
think that's
all
what they're going to
glad
be
that
like
they're
as
there.
well.
And
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just going to
Correct.
wish on a star that they go as far as they possibly can.
Yeah. And
yeah,
either way, they have won getting this far. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But I mean, they should have really finished top four because they lost their last 2 games. If they'd have won one of those games, they would have finished top four and got the double chance. So
and taken Collingwood's spot.
yeah, they would have taken Collingwood's spot. So Collingwood, I was stoked when they lost to Port because that meant Collingwood finished fourth. Otherwise, if Gold Coast had won that game, they would have finished fourth. So that was a big loss for them.
Well, taking 17 seasons to get to a semi-finals and have a finals campaign, although they'd be disappointed on missing out on the four, I just think they'd be relieved that they finally bloody well got there. Because let's
Yeah,
face it, anyone from Gold Coast following any sort of Gold Coast franchise has never ever had a happy sporting
Yeah.
yeah,
supporting life ever in the history
yeah.
of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, I've discussed this with Jules before. Like, it's a very flaky market, the Gold Coast. I mean, if you're looking at it from a business point of view, I don't understand really why the AFL and the NRL are even in the Gold Coast market because they really don't get great crowds for either NRL or AFL,
Yeah.
and
You know what?
it's a
Yeah,
bit
I
hit and
think
miss. Like, I
yeah,
don't, I don't think they've got a big enough population there either. But for some reason, they always put sporting teams there.
I agree. I think that they sort of feel now, I'm not speaking out of what I feel. I'm just trying to reconcile with their narrative for including them. I kind of feel that they kind of need to have a Gold Coast side because they think that it's an iconic name synonymous with Australia, and they just feel that if a team could take off there, it could do wonders for either sport, but it just generally hasn't for either the
Yeah,
AFL or the NRL or any sporting franchise. As I've said before, like the Gold Coast has been Australia's sporting graveyard, and generally I
yeah,
kind of agree with you with the population stance that you have. Not only what you just said, but it's also a bit like God's waiting room where people go to die. Like it's a
yeah.
retirement strip and a holiday strip.
Retirement or holiday. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Like,
Do people
yeah,
move
like I
to the Gold Coast to retire and supporting Collingwood their whole life or supporting Manly and change teams? No, they don't.
probably not.
Probably
No,
not.
They,
I mean the AFL's probably got the same strategy as GWS. They're trying to get the next generation coming through, but I just don't think the population is big enough out there. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I've just always been a bit skeptical. And you look at the NRL. When I look at the NRL, I go, well, that's the main sport in Queensland, and they can't get a Gold Coast team up there. So,
yeah.
what hope does the AFL have to try and break into that market if the NRL can't? Right? Because
Yeah.
then you look at like North Queensland. I look at North Queensland. I go, wow, that stadium up there is phenomenal. There's only like 200,000 people in Townsville. They
Yeah.
pack it out every week,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they've got a really strong team, really strong organisation. You compare that to the Gold Coast Titans.
Look
There's,
at
there's no
bloody
one there.
Dolphins have worked. The Dolphins
Yeah.
Even the Dolphins, they've got a strong club,
have worked.
and but
So
yeah. So I
how is
just don't know why the AFL and the NRL and even the soccer clubs they persist with getting into that Gold Coast market.
Yeah, I
To me, it
just
doesn't
kind
make
of
sense.
feel I kind of feel that it was more like a vision to begin with. So you've got
Yeah,
the iconic name, and it was sort of they were put together via a vision that they had, via potential, what it could be, but not actually
yeah,
what it was. And I don't think the bones of any Gold Coast franchise was ever truly inspected properly, because if it was, then I think that in hindsight, and everyone's an expert in hindsight, neither the AFL or the NRL or any sporting franchise would have gone ahead with a Gold Coast franchise.
yeah, yeah. The
that's
AFL sunk millions into it. Right.
Can we do the
Yeah.
prediction for the Gold Coast
Yes,
Yeah,
and
let's do
Fremantle?
it.
yeah.
I'm going to say Gold Coast because I'm jumping on board. You know, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Gold
Yep.
Coast.
I'm
Beautiful.
saying Freo by 40.
Oh,
Uh,
wow, there you go. I'm going
Yeah.
Fremantle by 26.
oh,
So there you go. Look, I'm just going to quickly run through it. I'll do it as quickly as I
okay.
can. 5 minutes to go. It's like a laundry list, but it's okay. I'll make it fairly quick. So, all the odds to win and to make the premiership, just one final time. Geelong to win are paying 375. To make it, they're paying 180. Brisbane to win are making 425. To make the grand final, 215. Adelaide to win, $5. To make the grand final, 250. Collingwood to win, $7. To make it, $3. Hawthorn to win, $16. To make it, $8. GWS to win, $18. To make it, $10. Fremantle, $23 to win. To make it, $11. And finally, Australia's graveyard capital of sport, Gold Coast, $41 to win the premiership and $18 to make it.
Okay. What about your prediction? Do we just do the grand final prediction and who's going to win that,
Yeah, why not?
or the way there, the road to the final? What do you reckon, Grovesy?
Well, we haven't got much time, so let's just do a who's in the grand final and who wins.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, I'll give you. I hope it's Collingwood
Yeah.
versus Geelong, or
Yeah.
Collingwood versus Brisbane, and we smash either one of those.
Yeah.
I think taking Collingwood hat off. I think probably I'll say. I'll say Geelong Adelaide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Drewy?
Yeah, you went with mine. I'm going Geelong and Adelaide, but I'm picking Geelong to win the grand final by about 15.
Okay.
Yeah, and sorry, I should say Geelong to win as well. I think they would beat Adelaide
Okay. Well, you're both
by
wrong.
20. I'll say by 20 points. Geelong by 20.
Very good.
You're both wrong. Thank you for your thoughts. It's going to be Collingwood,
Yes.
GWS. And
Wow.
going to win it?
Wow, that's a
Collingwood, GWS. Collingwood wins by 100.
yes. I love
think
it.
I think there's a bit of static in that crystal ball of yours. You might need to give it a few bumps to
Yeah.
sort of have some form of realism, but I don't mind the
Snowball. That's what
Collingwood
it is.
winning one.
Snowball, you know?
It's more the margin
I
where
hope
I
you're
think
right.
the crystal ball is going a little
Yeah.
bit south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about your mate Snoop Dogg, Grovesy? Is he going to be
I
entertaining?
love him.
You know?
What a legend. Yeah, what a scoop for the AFL, eh?
Yeah.
It must be huge news down there, yeah?
Huge news. Oh, it is, yeah. Well,
Huge
controversial
deal.
as well because of the Rankin homophobic slur, and then half of Snoop Dogg's lyrics are homophobic. So
Yeah.
everyone's
Well,
calling
Jules,
AFL a bunch of hypocrites. Everyone
Jules
loves it.
actually had a good suggestion. He actually thinks that AnzaK Rankin, because there's every likelihood he won't play,
Yeah.
because Adelaide have
Yeah.
to lose one and still make the grand final for him to have a shot at playing a game, which would be the last game.
Yeah.
He thinks that
Yeah.
AnzaK Rankin and Snoop should collaborate because there's every chance that Adelaide might go straight through.
I
And
love it. That's a great suggestion.
Luke gets up there at halftime, right, Grosey, and Andrew,
Yeah.
it's like he gets on his mic, he's like, yo, I just want to put this next song out to all the F-bombs and P-bombs out there. It's dropping like it's hot.
I'd like to
I love
see
it.
AnzaK Rankin spitting bars with Papa Snoop.
Oh, Papa,
Yeah.
Papa Snoop, mate.
Papa Snoop. What a
Papa Snoop.
legend.
Mate.
Oh, Aussie
They're going to
Rules.
drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot. Great game, yeah. Aussie Rules, great game.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Love
it's the best time of the year for Aussie Rules, these final times.
It is. Yeah.
And it was great to have the professor of AFL in the Red Hot Underdogs house tonight.
Thank you, Papa Grovesy.
Boys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Papa.
boys.
Laters.
Take it easy, boys.
We just
That's
got to
right.
wait till it stops.
Bye.
Knows when it's going to
It'll
stop.
stop when it stops.
This is less than a minute.
Red Hot Underdogs rising tonight. AnzaK and Drewy bringing the fight. Talk about the game ain't just one side.